All right. One of the most overlooked things, not the most, but one of the most is your cables as far as lube. A couple of things here. You should be doing this on a regular basis as far as lubing the cables, lubing and at least inspecting. And the reason I say that is because you lube it to make it easier, help the cables out. But also, too, it gives you a chance to actually pull it apart and look at it. As far as you have any broken strands or cracks in eyelets here. So you're going to pull it apart and have everything loose there to get it apart. And then you do your adjustment down on the clutch itself. If your bike has an adjuster down there, you're going to physically just look at the end of the cable here. Let me see if I can zoom in on this thing here so you can see it. Okay, it should be good there. So what you're going to look at is right at the end here, if you have any broken strands or loose strands, sometimes it'll break one strand. And if one breaks, they're all going to start breaking after that. So you'd go ahead and lube this. I use I use Bike Aid. It's a Malle based lubricant, which comes with a pen oiler. And nice and easy, it just slides right down in the clutch cable there, or in any cable really. Give it some squirts, and what this is, it's actually Malle lube and a liquid carrier. The liquid carrier dries out pretty quick. This stuff is a little expensive, but not really if you look at it, because that's actually a pretty big bottle right there. I've had this bottle here for 3 or 4 years now, and still got plenty in there. Works better than just about anything else. You see guys using WD-40 or whatever their favorite lubricant is. I can tell you right now from experience, it doesn't work like this. None of it does. And I've been using it for 40 years and never had a problem with it. Versus some of the soup du jour lubricants they come out with that do have little pen oilers that are basically oil with a pen. Same idea with the pen oiler, but it takes forever to actually get it down through the cable because it is oil and it has to run down there. And it just doesn't make it feel buttery smooth like Dry Slide does. I know it sounds like a Dry Slide commercial, but you'd want to inspect your clutch there. And when you go back together with it, you'd want to lube up the pivot pins. You know, this is the one that actually slides in the clutch there. You'd want to lube this one, and it's Teflon or nylon or whatever it is. And it's got a little bit of lubricant in there, but you'd always, a little bit extra doesn't hurt. And then your this one here, you're actually, that holds the clutch lever and goes down through the perch here, clutch perch. You want to lube it good with you can use the same lube there. You can use the pen oiler, or you can use Never Seas. Either one works good. But as far as the throttle cables go, you're looking at about the same thing. Now I've already got this one apart here. It's hanging here because I was messing with the switches on the bars, but kind of the same thing on the throttle cables. You'd want to lube them really good. Check them for any broken strands, especially around here. Sometimes what you get on these cables is let me see if I can see this. Push this one up out of here. Now these ones are actually pretty good. I think I did replace these already, but On this one here, sometimes what you get is this one's bent a little bit, so I must have replaced it when we first got the bike. Is on this end here, if it's got any kinks in it, sometimes you pull apart and it'll be kinked way over, kind of like somebody bent it or folded it over, and that kind of over puts a little strain on the wires there, and they are fine little wires. Let me see if I can zoom in on this thing here so you can actually see it. There you go. See, this one's got a slight little bend to it. When I say they're bent, I mean they'll be bent like somebody folded it over. And they are fine strands, so you don't want to really bend them over a lot. So same thing, you're going to lube these, and like I said, I got this one off. It's just switch housing is just hanging off there, which typically if you're servicing your bike, you're not going to pull the grip off to do it. You're just going to raise the cap up here, and this is going to be sitting up on the bar. And this is just going to be sitting up on the bar with the cables like, I'm not feeding this all the way thing back through there. Going to be sitting in there basically like this. So you can just take your lube and look down in there and stick it right down in the end of the cable and give it some squirts. And it doesn't take long to run. This stuff's really thin to begin with. Then once the carrier dries, it thickens up. But that's about it. Main purpose of this video wasn't lubing the cables, but you know, part of the reason they want you to do it is so you'll actually pull it out and look at it and see if you got anything going on there, clutch cable or throttle cables, brake cables, if you have mechanical brakes like drum brakes, to check the strands out on the inner cable itself. And sometimes what you'll have on these outer cables, you'll have them where they're kinked, like kinked, like somebody bent them in two. And the liner, the outer liner, is basically a steel cable, flat spring steel that's wrapped around, and it has a rubberized coating on the outside or plastic or whatever you want to call it. But you can get kinks in there. And the other thing, I'm not going to go over it in this video, but your cable adjustment, you'd want to adjust your throttle cable first, which is this side, the actual thing that pulls the throttle cable open, and then do your idle cable second. So you're going to do the one that actually returns, or is supposed to return. If you shut the throttle closed, it actually pulls on this cable here to return it, or to aid in return in case you have any problems. Now, I have had it, not too many times, but sometimes in the past you get them where the guys have never checked the cables, ever. They've never lubed them. You know, other than doing an oil change themselves and not tightening bolts and maybe not even checking air in their tires, but they service their own bikes, which, you know, they don't know any better. So, but rare instances, you'll have one that cable's frayed up here, either one, idle or throttle cable, get frayed. And, you know, if I hop on the bike ride, I'd be like, whoa, you need to lube them damn throttle cables, because some of them you get on the bike and you're pulling the throttle cable and it's like, man, this thing ain't even opening. Not to mention your adjustment at your carburetor's wrong, because the throttle isn't even opening all the way. It's open, like, worst case scenario, I've had them open, you know, where they're only open at half throttle. And that's not good. But in rare instances, I think the worst one I had, guy had throttle cables that were toast and was riding down the road and went to pass a car, and it stuck wide open and he couldn't shut it off. Freaked out. He didn't know what to do. Didn't know he could hit the damn kill switch, I guess. But, you know, it over revved and just kind of stayed there until it didn't. Sent bent some valves on it, bent some push rods, bent some valves. But that's a rare exception right there. But that wasn't the only time I've seen it happen. I've had it happen a couple of other times. Usually customers' bikes that they'll bring the bike in and not know what to do because their throttle's stuck and they ran in front of a car or who knows what. And it all came down to just, not really paying attention to their maintenance like they should. I'm not saying you need to go out and do it right now, but if you've never done it on your bike and your bike's 10 years old, you probably should at least check it. Worst case scenario, it snaps the throttle cable and you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, which they always seem to pick the most inopportune time to break. Clutch cable, too. Had a guy with a FXR one time that doing a service on his bike and told him he needed a clutch cable. And for whatever reason, I guess he thought I was trying to get money out of him or something because he's like, nah, I don't need it. Doesn't need a clutch cable. Okay. It's got like 3 or 4 strands broken right over here. And, made him sign a waiver that he denied the repair. And he denied it. And then went out and snapped the clutch cable down in D.C. on Memorial Day weekend for the run to the wall or whatever it was. Snapped it right off. What do you do then? You're stuck. You can't do a damn thing. Wait for a tow truck. Wait all weekend for a tow truck. Leave your bike there. So the point is, just check your cables. Don't just shoot some lube down them and let it go. Pull it apart, look at it. Sometimes what you'll find on these big eyelets on these clutches, if you look at them really close, you might see a crack forming in there somewhere on this piece here, on the eyelet. I don't understand it because cables are really pretty cheap and they're stupid easy to put on. But that's all I got for that. I thought I'd just point that out for some people that don't like doing maintenance or don't think about it. They just hop on the bike and ride, and that's cool too. But if you're gonna do your own work, man. Don't just say you do all your own work because you don't trust anybody else, and then you do stuff like overlook throttle cables, belt adjustment, rear pulley bolts, brake caliper bolts, engine mounts, primary chain tension. Hell, big one that gets me is guys, you see them riding the bike in and you look at the tires, and the tires only got 10 or 15 pounds there in it just from looking at it. Riding a $40,000 bike and doesn't know to check the damn tires on it. So before we get too involved in that, I'm just going to say, check your bike over if you're working on it. It's not hard to figure this stuff out. It's so easy, a damn monkey could do it. Chim, 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 chim. Chim, chim. Are you chim, chim today? And that's it. That's all I got. I'm going to go back to working on this BMW over here, trying to put the ignition system in. And I had to go to court this morning for something, traffic ticket basically. And they dismissed it. But we're moving along here a little bit at a time. I'm just trying to point some of this stuff out that needs to be done service-wise. So you guys have a great weekend coming up. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, all that stuff. And everybody have a damn fine weekend.